Does anyone know what happened to that one guy on TikTok that was calling out like all of witch talk and all of mysticism to like hex him and do all these bad things? Because I remember he like tried to call them all out and went on a tear for like a month every single day calling them out, saying he invites them to do everything and anything. Whatever happened to him? I haven't seen him in a while. He used to get so many hate comments of all these people who were pagan or on witch talk, and they'd all be like, "Oh, it's coming, don't you worry." And he was just every day being like, "I'm fine, nothing's happening." What happened to him?
Ash is a natural source of phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. However, you should know that these nutrients aren't quickly absorbed by plants, as the soil pH needs to be acidic for them to be assimilated. Otherwise, the ash will simply remain as an inert powder in the soil. Additionally, ash works very similarly to agricultural lime, as this amendment also has the ability to raise soil pH.
Here's an immediate test to see a person's level of emotional maturity. You're going to sit them down and in a very calm way, without any accusation, you're going to tell them how their actions hurt or upset you. Then don't say anything at all. Just observe how they respond. If they're emotionally mature, they're going to be curious and open to what you're saying. They're going to be calm and ask questions, and their core desire is going to be to understand why you feel the way you do. If they're emotionally immature, they're going to immediately get defensive. They might start getting loud or shut you down. They might give you the silent treatment, and they might even bring up something you've done wrong. Their core desire is to make your feelings wrong. So an emotionally mature person is trying to understand why you feel the way you do. And an emotionally immature person is trying to make your feelings wrong because they can't cope with the emotional discomfort.
Strange theories you've never heard of. Guys, some of the topics on this chart are extremely deranged the further down you go. But we'll start off with volcanoes' real purpose. This is the idea that all volcanoes on Earth are just remnants of old power plants, and that human civilization have gone through multiple cycles of great extinction events. And so these power plants have melted down, and that's why they are now just volcanoes. The phone mafia is just the idea that all the scam callers that you get and receive are all part of a large mafia syndicate that's goal is to steal your information and sell it, which I feel like is closer to the truth than a lot of these other ones. Pancreas denial. This is the theory that the pancreas that you have in your body is more than just a physical organ, but rather your body's third chakra, and that it's responsible for the filtering out of negative energy. However, the government purposefully exposes us to a lot of negative energy to weaken its ability to block bad stuff, and so this leaves the general public vulnerable to the negativity that the pancreas would normally be able to keep away from us. So the pancreas is being denied its normal function. Moon soul catcher. This is just the idea that the moon is a giant soul catcher, and that there was a soul catcher placed on the moon before the age of man by these celestial beings that were benevolent entities that wanted to protect humanity. And so at the end of your life, they catch your soul with this giant catcher and then reincarnate it into a body of a newborn baby. And like, even if you experience like a near-death experience, your soul gets caught by the moon and then returned to your body if it's not beyond repair. Paleolithic deep state. First of all, the deep state is the idea that there are these secret groups of people controlling the entire world with secret agendas. Paleolithic deep state is the idea that there is this group that has existed since ancient prehistoric times, and they are these creatures that have evolved alongside humans to secretly push their agendas despite having complete power over the entire world. Nano UFOs and Giga UFOs. This is the idea that UFOs can come in different sizes and forms. For example, there can be microscopic UFOs that can exist in like substances that we eat or even in our bloodstream. But then there's also gigantic UFOs that are supernaturally massive and could exist in things like clouds, or they could be stars, or even like cover up the entire sky of the planet. Phantom time hypothesis. This is a pseudo-historical conspiracy theory that claims that nearly 300 years of our Earth's history was made up. So basically, this theory says that 600 to 900 AD didn't exist, and that the Middle Ages never happened because the medieval elite fabricated those years to justify their ascension to power. And because of this, all the history that we know is false. But there's overwhelming evidence that those time periods happened, but I still think it's a cool theory. Nukes weren't made for humans, so this is the theory that nuclear weapons weren't made for humans, but rather were made to combat or destroy these esoteric or supernatural forces, or even destroy things like cryptids. Along with this theory, people think there are these entities that exist on Earth outside of public knowledge, and that even when we were supposed to be doing testing of our nuclear weapons, they were just examples of these weapons being used to obliterate targets that the public could not be made aware of. Anyways, thank you guys for watching another long video on here. This one was extremely deranged, but I actually kind of like.
Those guys learn their political opinions from video games. Like, not in the way that you think, but has anybody else noticed this? Specifically, I'm talking about like role-playing games, things that are well written, things that have consequences. You know, Fallout, BioShock, that kind of stuff. Even that mission No Russian from Call of Duty, which I'll kind of explain. I have a theory for why this actually is. It is one of the like lowest cost ways that people can see consequences of their actions. I don't know what this is going to be for Gen Alpha, but when it comes to pretty much every millennial and like older Gen Z, this is what we're talking about. Every faction that you had to choose between there had a good point. None of them were like, oh, this is stupid. They were all so well written that I remember being at school talking about this game and hearing why other people made the choices that they made and just being like, I understand, but I still disagree. Like, if you're dating a guy, ask him what video game had him the most conflicted with the choices that he made. This is an extreme level of classism. This is, yes, war is an industry. I remember playing the No Russian mission in Call of Duty, and I go, America wouldn't do that, would they? Oh my God, America wouldn't do that, would they? I know this probably seems silly to people who don't play video games, but when you go through Fallout the first time and you see that making a decision completely changes the entire world and leads to a lot of deaths, it's, oh my God. Whenever people say video games are stupid, this is one of the examples that I like talking about as what other ways do you know of to show people severe consequences to seemingly insignificant choices and actions?
The reason that there is such a void of male role models for young men is because we literally do not have adult males in our population anymore. What do I mean by that? There's no adult males. Like, there's grown men everywhere, but they're not actually physiologically adult human males. They're not. I'm going to teach you guys some fun shit. So in biology, there's this thing called neoteny. It's essentially an organism will retain juvenile traits as it ages if it doesn't get stressed out enough. Okay? If you live in an environment that's too like easy, you don't actually develop adult characteristics. I noticed this when I was in high school. I grew up in a very affluent area, and when we went to our grad night, it was at Disneyland, and we went with a bunch of inner city schools, and everyone I was with realized that all of these kids looked like adults. They looked so much older than us. And so, yeah, because they were in a more stressful environment, which caused their adrenal glands to upregulate, which caused higher testosterone levels, which made them literally adults. Made them adults in a way that we were still juvenile. Every organism has multiple phenotypes it can have. All right, your phenotype's dictated by your genes, but what dictates which genes get expressed is your environment. The best example of this is pigs. So, domesticated pigs, the pink ones that you all know and love, that's one phenotype. It's not even their healthy phenotype. You take a domesticated pig, you release it into the wild. After 6 months, you have a feral boar that has grown thick, curly hair and tough.
Jesus didn't use parables to make the kingdom easier to understand. He used them to hide it for the ones who are truly seeking. Just hear me out on this. The kingdom of God is not for casual listeners. It's for seekers. The Lord wasn't just telling stories. He was revealing mysteries that could only be unlocked by the ones who are willing to search for truth. To the crowds, his words sounded like riddles, but to the one with kingdom eyes, he was given keys to access a reality that was hidden in plain sight. That's why he said, to you it has been given to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it has not been given. Kingdom principles are not unavailable, but the kingdom only reveals itself to the one who values it. Truth is never withheld, but it is hidden from anyone who treats it casually. God does not throw pearls before someone who refuses to recognize their worth. That's why Jesus said, through seeing they do not see, through hearing they do not understand. There is always more in the kingdom, but it is only found by the one who refuses to settle for surface level understanding and who has a hunger for seeing beyond what the eyes can see.
feel like guys that grow up with like just brothers or like older brothers are completely different from guys that have sisters. Because I have 2 sisters, right? I have no brothers. My brothers were my neighborhood friends. Because I feel like when you grow up with like just sisters, you kind of learn the respect women, never hit a woman, all that. You learn that at a really, really young age. Because like for me, there was this one time, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. This was right before Christmas, okay? Me and my big sister, we got in a fight, okay? And my big sister put me in a damn headlock. I used to be way smaller than her. Now I'm like a foot taller than her. She can't do shit. But she has me in this headlock, right? So what do? I go like this. And I headbutt her with the back of my head right in the mouth. I'm pretty sure she lost a tooth or something. I mean, we were young. It was gonna grow back. Okay, not that big of a deal. And my sister's crying now, and it's real loud, and my dad hears it, and he comes out and he goes, "What happened? What's going on?" And she tells him what happened. "James headbutted me in the face, and I lost a tooth." I have never been so scared. I've never learned a lesson so fast in my life. He comes up to me, grabs me on the shoulders. "You don't ever lay your hands on a woman. If I ever catch you hitting the woman again, I will personally beat your ass." Now, my dad would never hit me. He would never hit any of his children. Never did, never will, okay? Love my dad. Great guy. But that shit scared the hell out of me. That scared me straight. But the icing on the cake is he points at the Christmas tree and he goes, "Hey, you see that present over there? That long box?" And then he goes up and grabs it and he opens it, and it's a BB gun that I had been asking for like 2 years. He goes, "You're not getting this year." And one thing about my dad is that he's a man of his word. He made me wait until the next Christmas to get that present. A whole year. At 8 years old, a year feels like an eternity. That I was so mad.
Do you want to know about the guardian angels that protect your car? Well, if you do, my name's Dakota and I can see into the spiritual world, and I'm standing next to my car right now, and I'm going to tell you about the 2 angels that are standing with me, specifically designed to protect me and my vehicle, okay? So this one angel, and she's in the frame right now. She's a feminine angel, but she's standing, okay. Essentially, I just put my hand right up against hers, and she kind of did like holding a high five for a moment. She's here. She's protecting the car. She's just under 6 foot tall, so a lot taller than me. And she is partnered with another angel that is standing at my shoulder, and he's like 7 foot tall. And what is so cool about these angels is, you know, I know a lot of educated Christians will go, "Well, is she just seeing demons?" Because weirdly in our world, it's a lot more common to see demons than it is to see angels. And I use the test from 1 John 4, and I ask these angels, did Jesus Christ come in the flesh? And I just smiled right now, because even when I have the intention of the test, okay, they're standing at my shoulders right now to make it easier for me to be in the video. It'll be interesting if there's any of you that can see in the spirit. What are you seeing? There's a lot of different dimensions that you can see on, but I'm going to focus on where these angels are right now. And when I ask the question, they shout back with a yes, so strong it hits me in the gut in a good way and just causes me joy. So this super tall masculine angel, again over 7 foot, he's in the frame right now, mostly in the frame right now, got to protect my car. He's sort of new. About 3 or 4 months ago, I got this random crack on my windshield, and then a few weeks after that, something weird happened to the tailgate of my Jeep. And that was really odd. And what this angel, and Fidlo, I think he said actually close enough, which is good. They care about their names. Their names are important in the spirit. But he said he got to my car because my husband prayed for extra protection over my car. And I just asked him, was there a spiritual attack against my vehicle? And he said, yeah, but I didn't need to worry about it. And actually, it's a good thing that I wasn't aware of the spiritual attack, because that was his job, my angel's job, and I just got to focus on Jesus. And the more I focused on Jesus in my relationship, the more the power of God gets to flourish in this life. God likes to partner with us in this power. Sometimes, you know, when I talk about like the demonic attacks that happen, it can be helpful to know, but sometimes it's better to not know, because then you just focus on Jesus and your angels are doing their job, and you don't need to be hyper aware. Maybe this is what it means, Exodus 14:14. You need only to be still, the Lord will fight for you. And in this case, I guess driving, I'm not very still, but I am at rest knowing that my angels They're both in the frame. Her face is about right here, and he literally has to duck down to get in. But they are here, and they are fighting for me, and your angels are fighting for you.
Did you know that it is possible that we are living in the year 1728 instead of 2025? Now, this is a very interesting theory called the phantom time hypothesis, where it suggests that 300 years of history never actually took place. In the 1990s, a German historian named Herbert Illig came up with this theory, suggesting that the Roman Emperor Otto III and Pope Sylvester II altered the calendar to be the year 1000, purely because it sounded more significant. This would be like a coffee shop opening up last year and changing its sign to say, serving coffee since 1967 versus serving coffee since yesterday. It just sounds better. Anyways, let's look at the evidence. Up until the year 614, the Roman Empire was still around, and we have tons of records of war, leaders, daily life. They built major cities, aqueducts, and advanced technology, like inventing concrete, road networks, even paper. And then, after the year 911, we have lots of books and documents around medieval Europe. People were inventing mechanical clocks, windmills, better farming tools. But between those years, there's almost nothing. No big advancements, no major discoveries, virtually no change in population, very few written records. This is why this time is often referred to as the Dark Ages, because we literally don't know too much of what actually took place. So did just nothing happen for 300 years? Well, let's look at architecture. In the 600s, the Byzantine architecture was very popular. It had these big domed roofs, golden mosaics, and highly decorated interiors. Now, if you look at the Romanesque architecture, which was popular in the 900s, they have a relatively similar build. Large fortress-like buildings with thick walls and stone carvings. If 300 years did pass by, wouldn't we see a bigger difference in architecture? Suggesting that buildings like these were actually built closer together and not 300 years apart. Back in those years, the calendar wasn't as solidified as it is today. In fact, they had 7 major calendars being used at the time, all of which would track time differently. So it is very possible that time was added or removed in this time frame. It happened, and more than once. So that is the bulk of the theory as to why we could actually be in 1728 and not 2025. Come back tomorrow where I share research on the other side of things, where those 300 years went and what actually took place in them. Be sure to like and follow for more fun videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Elon Musk was worth almost $400 billion in December. Now, he's lost over $140 billion so far. He has actually broken the Guinness World Record for most amount of wealth lost. He has lost over half of his net worth. Oh my gosh, this is so hilarious. And now we know why he's been acting so manic lately. Like that's basically what this boils down to. This just boils down to full-blown mania, that what he's got going on right now. Because if he keeps losing his money in Tesla stock, that Tesla stock, that's where most of his net worth is tied up in. It's tied up in Tesla, and he has a little bit in SpaceX and other things. And he leveraged his valuation of Tesla stock as collateral to buy Twitter. And if we don't know the details of what the loan terms were for how he bought Twitter, but he bought Twitter using Tesla stock. And if Tesla stock keeps falling like that, keeps falling the way it is, he will lose Twitter. He will go bankrupt. Like, he is about to go bankrupt. That's why you saw him crashing out. That's why you see him crashing out, crying, losing his mind, because those bills are going to come due. Those bills are coming up due soon. And he knows it. He knows he's on a deadline. Not only that, the boycott is working. It's gotten so bad that he had to use the President of the United States to try to sell more Teslas to hopefully kind of bump up his Tesla stock, which it did a little bit, but then it came crashing back down. Yeah, and it's going down even further and harder. And all we got to do is just keep doing what we've been doing. It's not so much a boycott in and of itself. It's just that the cars themselves are not that good. Like, we have a friend of ours who had a Tesla, or who has one, regretting their purchase, by the way. And the build quality is just not that great. It's not. Like, they're just not that good of a car. Like there's so many other options these days as far as electric vehicles goes, and they're so far above Tesla. But that's besides the point. The point is that we've all said that had he just kept his mouth shut, not tried to meddle in what he's been trying to meddle in, he would have been fine. He would have still had his billions. But no, he bought himself the presidency, and he financially is backing the current administration because he believed that by doing all the things that he's doing, by trying to stop, certain investigations that are going on into his companies in both SpaceX, Tesla, so on and so on. He's trying to go after people that are investigating him so he can continue to try to generate more profits that they'll stop, that they won't shut him down, or whatever it is, whatever the investigations would result in. Regardless, he went after the people that were investigating him, thinking that that was going to improve his stock. And clearly that is not working out. Clearly it is not panning out, and he is freaking out. But I digress. The point is so incredibly hilarious that he literally is in the Guinness Book of World Records. And congratulations, Elon. You did it.
Travis,
Yes.
how many digits of pi do you know?
100, exactly.
Prove it.
Oh?
Go.
3.141592653589793238459230781642686283482596280342117067 That's 100.
That's my boy.
Happy Pi Day.
Hey, wonderful earthlings. Wow! I'm fascinated, honestly surprised. That good web story we just seen. I didn't even know the mathematical pi has all those digits. You see? Looks like we've been learning the whole thing in school. Anyway, that good webs, guys, my friend, is a perfect illustration of how wonderfully, perfectly, and unique all humans are made. And is such type of uniqueness amongst all of us, if we all united, the world will be full of good vibes. Another video that has passed yet of some good vibes guy, probably someone's father, talking about another good vibes guy, the mask guy, and how much money he has lost in such a short duration of time. First of all, good vibe soul. My friend, how much is $140 billion in African money? Hey, good vibe source, that is a lot. That is money that can be used to budget for the whole country in 1 year or so. You see, I can't believe such things happen to people. Anyway, my friends, all these things happen with a reason. And that good vibe source, that thing happened to him probably trying to help some people, you see, because there are people employed in his company that needed some salary, among other many people that good vibes guy has helped. You see, you, my friends, leave your comments down below on all those things that has happened. But for me, I still can't fathom how much is all those billions they were mentioning in African money. I don't even think sometimes these things is real. How can one person have all that? You see? Anyway, the world is full of wonders. Let's keep watching good web shows.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Would you learn how to play basketball from a football coach?
I guess not.
Would you learn how to play basketball from a football